So let me take you back rather to a place of police brutality and military intervention. Only 10 years ago, a famous place, not far away from here, a place called Soweto, before it became a Broadway musical and its 14 million rand sequel. Jesus, man, it's happened again. How can someone swallow a blade? Last week, that troopie from Durban swallowed glass, crushed glass. Now, I know the Minister of Defence was forced to admit in Parliament last week that it only happens about one a day. One a day? That's about 365 a year, one a day. And that's only the attempted suicides in the army. That's not the ones that succeed. The troopies who hang themselves, the ones that shoot themselves. Now, that's what I can't understand, man. You've got the gun and the bullets, you know how quick it can be. Put it in your mouth and pull the trigger. So why swallow rusty blades or crushed glass when the government gives you the weapons to kill yourself with? My buddy was also scared that the terrorists would get him, with a landmine or a hand grenade, and he'd end up in bloody bits and pieces on the marble slab in the mortuary's room, and what his parents would say if they were told. If they were told. I remember a film they showed us during our basic training, before we were sent up to the border. A terrible film. They showed us every day for a month. What those ANC terrorists do, not just to us whites, but to their own people, Putting motorcar tires around their necks and burning them alive. And what those Russian limpet mines do, and what communism does to decent Christians and all that. I don't know what to believe anymore, man. Do you know, sometimes I really wonder, could it be our own people? Putting those bombs in supermarkets and parked cars to blow up innocent white women and children? And blame the ANC so that we can hate the blacks more? I don't hate blacks. I don't know any blacks. They say there are some blacks in the army somewhere. Jesus, it's being in these black townships I can't stand, man. Patrolling these dirt roads in an open Casper with somebody passing with a joint just to calm your nerves in case you hit a landmine and end up a bloody piece of meat on the marble slab. You get a medal for that, Died in the service of what? Apartheid. You don't get a medal for swallowing a rusty blade because you're so scared you'll end up having to shoot the kids of your maid. The kids of the maid that used to bath you when you were small. The maid that used to tell you all the stories of her little pickaninnies in the black township there on the far side of the moon. And now we're here. And those pickaninnies are all now comrades with AK-47s, and they hate my guts and they're trying to kill me because I'm wearing this uniform. But because of this uniform, I've got to kill them first because Magnus Malan says that's good for South Africa. Oh, I've got a postcard from my best friend, Andre. He got his 2-year call-up papers and managed to get out the next day via Zimbabwe. And I was sitting in Australia teaching Vietnamese kids how to speak English, and he's Afrikaans. Hell, he misses South Africa, man. But he says it's good to live at least part of his life without fear. What is this, Is this fear? Hey? What must I do, man? Must I just drop my gun? Must I say, fuck you, Magnus, fuck you, South Africa? I'll go to Canada, I'll go to Australia, I'll go anywhere. I will not kill the kids of our maid. But somebody said to me, if you drop your gun and just run, the troopie who picks up that gun might just have a passion to kill black kids. Well, at least while we're here watching them, they can't get away with all the killings. And I wasn't watching you and you swallow the blade. Jesus, man, why didn't you talk to me? I could have told you 3 more weeks to go in the army and then we'll be out of this. We'll be back in City Street. We'll be back to normal. There's got to be life after all this death. Well, they say what we're doing here is defending South Africa. They say what we're doing here is fighting for democracy. They say what we're doing here is protecting Christianity. They say what we're doing here is right. I hope it's right. Because I can never one day say I didn't know what was happening. Oh, Jesus, I hope it's right. Now, surely, in all fairness, this young man, this young soldier, should also be here. We should also give him the compassion we gave everybody else. I mean, after all, he was just a misinformed racist. After all, he was just doing his job. But sadly, he can't be here, members of the jury, because he's dead. Not in one of the border wars, not in one of the township excursions. It's quite simple. He shot himself. Third time lucky.